One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Happy TGIF. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everything is 5 by 5. Hope you can hear me. Wow, this is Friday. It's supposed to be a slow news day, but in Trump world, there is no such thing as a slow news day, even when he's not doing much. But before we do anything, before I get into the show, I want to get this over and done with so we can move on. So I mentioned we were going to be giving away free bars of silver. What did I do with the bar of silver? Did I bring it with me? I don't think I have it here in this studio with me. But wait a minute. Yes, I do. It's in my pocket. Wait 1 second here. I still have it in my pocket. Now if I can get in my pocket, that'd be another thing. Let's see. Let's pull it out. Oh, that's why it came out of the little plastic case that it's supposed to be in. But nonetheless, this is a bar of 1 ounce silver, a troy ounce. I'm going to have to get a new pocket for it, as the pocket, yeah, it goes in there. All right, there's a bar of silver. So what we're going to do is give that away right now. Hopefully the system works. Let's go ahead. Let's pick a winner. Will it let me? And hold on. Let me see. Pick a winner. Pick a winner. Chicken dinner. Randomize the selection. And randomly draw one winner and draw the winner. Boom. Winner chosen. View the winner. Where's the winner? Tracy Cowan. Let me move that down so you can see it better. Tracy Cowan has just won a bar of silver. You guys can't see it for some reason. Not really sure why you can't see it. I don't have the screen far enough up where you can see it. Let me see if I can do this so you can see it. Tracy Cowan. Well, nope, I'm not going to show it anyway because it's got her email address and everything else. So Tracy Cowan, C-O-W-A-N. She's got a 860 phone number, so she's probably in the Connecticut area, or at one point was in the Connecticut area. You have won a free 1 ounce bar of silver. Tracy Cowan, Ashley will reach out to you at your email address. Obviously, don't want to show your email address on the air. Trying to see if there's any way I can show the name without giving the information, and it's not letting me. I think you guys saw it was Tracy. Yeah, you can see it. Okay. It was Tracy Cowan. That's who won. I don't want to show any of her personal information, but Tracy, you just won a bar of silver. That's how it's going to work. That's every single show, Monday through Friday. We're going to be, for at least, I think the next 30 days, we're going to be giving out an ounce of silver, and the first winner is Tracy Cowan's. Congratulations to Tracy. Hopefully you're watching today. With that being said, let's get into the show. I am so pumped. I know some of you are pumped, and I know that some of you are. I know there's some people who just don't get it. But today, just like the last couple days, and the last month, and the last couple months, the stock market, the economy is absolutely on fire. President Trump recognized that. Let's see what he first posted. He says, Ford and General Motors are up big on tariffs placed on big and mid-sized trucks coming from other countries. Thank you, President Trump. Then he wrote this. The United States is, gonna have to hit the button. The United States is wealthy, powerful, and nationally secure again, all because of tariffs, the most important case ever before the United States Supreme Court. So he's trying to get them to understand this is it. This is how our country survives, is with these tariffs. And then he followed that up quickly with the stock market is stronger than ever before, which it absolutely is. Well, what do you mean stronger than ever before, Barry? Well, when I say stronger than ever before, this is exactly what we are talking about. The stock market, once again, the word record should tip it off, but the stock market hit a record today. Rallies 400 points to first close over 47,000 ever. Over 47,000 following a mild inflation report. So let's give President Trump a hand, and hopefully you guys are profiting. It pumps me up to see the economy on fire, because I know what it means to the Democrats. It means that they have absolutely nothing. Go ahead and whine and bitch and moan and all the stuff that you do. The rest of us are going to be dipping our beaks and having a fantastic weekend. Nobody cares about the shutdown. Well, let me rephrase that. Most Americans could care less about the shutdown. I'm going to prove that to you. Because there's probably some people right now who are watching this or commenting like, no, it sucks. Nope, nobody. All right, I'll stop myself again. Not nobody. Most people don't care about the shutdown. So let's go talk about some money here, shall we? I'm not going to be doing a prosperity message, but I'm going to prove to you exactly what's going on. Ready for it? Let's go.
Here's our late but coming out September read on the Consumer Price Index. Headline number up 0.3, 1/10 cooler than both rearview mirror and what we were expecting. And if we look at the stripping out of food and energy known as core, it comes in also a bit less than expected, up 0.2. We were expecting up 0.3. Our last look was up 0.3. Here's the Moneyball numbers. Year over year, 3%. And even though it's less than the 3.1 we were expecting, it's hotter than 2.9. And after all, it's got a 3 handle. And if we look at CPI year over year ex food and energy, it also comes in at 3%. We were also expecting 3.1, but last look was 3.1, so it cooled a bit. So we're seeing interest rates move down and stocks move up.
All right, so I know there's some people who are like, what did he just say? He's speaking Greek. Well, the last part was very good and what impacts you personally. You don't have to be a large investor. Credit worthiness. Credits is going to be more plentiful. They're going to have to lower the interest rate. Every single economic indicator, all of them, are saying lower the interest rate. And what you're seeing is a response to that right away with people selling and buying at a huge volume, to set the record again for the stock market. So everyone is now anticipating it being money time. Money time. It's all over the place.
Here, markets are reacting pretty positively to this report, coming in, better than expected, potentially meaning that inflation is starting to moderate a little bit more, and that the Fed is more likely to do a rate cut come, around this time next weekend.
All right, so now use guys who understand and have been following me when I've been telling you to skate where the puck is. You now know. It is Friday, the 24th at 5:11 p.m. You're seeing these numbers. And you now know that the Fed, more than likely, nobody can guarantee it. I don't have the crop report here, but all the indicators say that interest rates are going to drop next Friday. So if you know that is going to happen, perhaps begin setting yourself up on Monday. Whatever trade you're going to put in, whatever buy you're going to put in, make sure you get it in, because Monday morning and Tuesday, things are probably going to take off. I say probably because I don't have a disclaimer to put down here. Barry's talking, but he's not a financial advisor, but I'm telling you what Barry's going to be doing, okay? Just so you know. That, coupled with all the craziness we're seeing, is the one thing that people are now turning away from, is the craziness that the Democrats are doing. That's why they're stomping their feet and crying and bitching all over the place, because they now know they're in big trouble. I told you this. I told you football season was happening. You remember me. I kept telling you, even though the Dolphins suck, people are still watching. We're coming into holiday season. We have a semi-holiday season right now. Halloween is 1 week away. People are going to be buying candy and costumes and everything else so that the kids can have a good time. That leads us into Thanksgiving. I don't know if you've been into a store lately, but they already got Christmas stuff up. They're already anticipating the huge amount of retail sales there are going to be. Why is everybody so upbeat about the economy if they're telling us it's the worst thing ever that the government shut down? Because most of the people who aren't getting paid will get paid. Eventually, they are going to get paid. And unfortunately, the people who may suffer, who are going to be victims of this, who are victims of the Democrats, who, once again, they're using you. They know no matter what happens, you're going to vote Democrat. It's those people who are on SNAP benefits and live this way, looking for the handout. And every time I say this, people get pissed at me, so I'm going to say it one more time. I am not talking about people who have bridge benefits. When I say bridge benefits, it's like I was in a good situation. I'm not in a good situation, but I plan on going back to a good situation as soon as possible. I just need that bridge to get me from where I am now to where I need to be. I'm talking about the lifers. I'm talking about those who have sat back and watched Jerry Springer and Judge Judy for years and did nothing but have babies and eat bonbons. They may not be happy. They may not be happy at all because everything about their lifestyle has been give me. And now, what do you mean I'm not getting all these SNAP benefits? What do you mean I'm not getting free stuff? Yeah, that's a great equalizer, but it's coming. It's definitely coming.
Numbers are terrific. The headline inflation came in not only below expectation with around 48 Bloomberg economists getting it wrong, the CPI inflation rate came in below last month's rate.
That's huge. Let me just decipher what this guy just said. Over 40 Bloomberg economists have gotten it wrong. Which means they know as much as the monkeys who can throw darts at a board. They know what they're told to know. They're told, hey, listen, poo-poo on Trump. Tell everybody the sky's going to fall. Tell everybody what's going to happen just so people vote a certain way or have their TDS enlightened. They're obviously not telling the truth. 40 of them? Maybe 1, 2, 10. 40 different economists told you that the sky was falling, and all 40 are wrong. And what's funny about that is those same 40 people, they're not going to come back and say afterwards, yeah, we were wrong. No, they just come up with another fire that they got to sell. Another thing that they have a problem with. And so stop listening to stupid people. Listen to the people, watch the numbers, learn the trends, because these people do not have your best interest in heart. And of course, they're hypocrites.
Markets are on fire as the CPI is coming out. Dow Industrials now up 257. Let's get to Cheryl Kasani with the CPI.
It came in better than expected, Maria. We came in 0.3% month over month. The street was looking for 0.4%. Year over year headline CPI coming in at 3%. The street was looking for 3.1%. Same story if you look at the core month over month. We came up 0.2%. Street was looking for 0.3. And then if you look at core year over year, that was at 3%, and I think this is what the market's looking at. We came in year over year.
All right, core is when you strip out some of the other stuff and you just look at fundamentals. They'll tell you a little bit about that. One of the reasons why I show this to you is because if you're watching CNN, which I hope you're not, or you're watching MSNBC, which I definitely hope you're not, and even Fox to a certain extent, you're looking at the wrong news. You're not looking at the news that can improve your daily life every single day. So if you don't know what CPI is, if you don't know what these basis points mean, you're behind the curve. You're not looking at the right stuff, the stuff that can actually make you feel better and help you and your family. But see, that's what they want. They want you to never look at this and learn this. High schoolers should be understanding what's going on in the market. Seniors should be understanding what's going on in the market. If you don't know what's going on in the market, and I mean all of them, then it's easy for the other networks to bamboozle you. They're going to tell you what they want you to hear, the narrative they want you to think, because they know you don't know otherwise. How many of you can put in the chat, it's not being embarrassing, how many of you understand what CPI is? How many of you know what CPI influences? How many of you know what a T-bill is influenced by? How many of you know what happens when Jerome Powell and his buddies decide to lower the interest rates next week? Not going to hear that on CNN or even on some like Fox and stuff.
Your core 3%. The expectation was 3.1, but that's lower than last month. We had 3.1% prior.
We've got breaking news on multiple fronts, including the economy.
I had to include this one because I know this hurt them. I know it hurt really bad, but it is so overwhelming because probably people were running around their newsroom, because they actually invest. They're like, are you seeing what's going on? Yeah, man. This is MSNBC. They didn't spend but maybe 30 seconds, but we better just throw it out there and then run back and call our brokers. Because I'm sure some of these hosts, maybe not her, I don't know who she is, but some of these hosts that are making millions, they're doing it. They are actually in the market of some way. Whether it's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, gold, silver, real estate, in some way, shape, or form, their money's not sitting in a CD getting 3%. Their money is working for them. And so they can go on television and go, Trump sucks and the economy sucks and the millionaires and billionaires. Excuse me, I got to get this call from my broker real quick. They're all doing it. All of them are profiting from the very man that they cause and talk crap about every single night. Make no doubt about it.
A new inflation report out this morning shows inflation rose by 3% in September, lower than expected.
Look at that. Just look at that. They can't even understand what is happening. I've told you before, understand trend lines. So if you're looking at this trend line and red is everything and the blue is, you take out food and energy, that's called the core. And well, you can see it. It looks like a downhill slope in the Olympics. Drastic drop. Now, if you've been charting this month over month yourself, you would have seen, whoa, it really dropped, and it has continued to go bouncing back after it got down to around 3. And that 3, as the other guy said, that's the 3 number. The 3 number is absolutely huge. And now Jerome Powell and his people, they're looking at this and go, wow, we've got a number of sustained months here below 4, don't we? Yeah. Yeah, it's below 4. It's not peaking. Everything that they told you was a lie. Everything that the news said for months, because they were told to say it. Oh, the tariffs! Oh, it's gonna cause you so much pain. Oh, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna be paying $18 a dozen for eggs and stuff. You won't even be able to buy Pampers. Remember? When's the last time they mentioned eggs? Nope, they can't mention eggs. Buy eggs down here for under $1.50. They can't mention the same things they were crying about just a few months ago, which means they count on a lack of cognitive memory. I'm going to show you that with what's her name? Big Tish. They count on it that people can't discern this information and definitely don't remember. It's so bad is when you see this and you're saying, aren't they able to read these charts and see that, okay, it was at 9% and now bam, this thing is dropping like a hot rock in snow. They don't want you to know. An uninformed population is just what they want. Because that way they can manipulate you and put you into all of their gaslighting. Whereas if you know this information, you don't even have to listen to them. Just show me the numbers. Right now, your focus, if you want to be where I hope you want to be, at this point, your main focus doesn't need to be on who shot Charlie Kirk, doesn't need to be on what's happening over here with the Epstein file. Show me the charts. I told you every single morning I pull up charts. I can see where it's going. Tell me if you weren't looking at this months ago, you wouldn't see where this is going. And so if they kept telling you, oh, the sky's going to fall in, you would have known better. You would have absolutely known better. And now they are at a position, which is why they're fighting, is why they don't want to come to the table, because there's nothing left. There's nothing else they can do. The ballroom. Shut the ballroom. Shut your ballroom head up. The ballroom. They got nothing else they can talk about because President Trump's not budging and he's reading these charts. If you're wondering what's going on in his mind, you just saw it. He sees this stuff. If the overwhelming population in the country is seeing this and understanding, yeah, this is good for us, then why am I going to worry about, and I don't mean this facetiously, I mean it, you know, they're going to have to be people who just dig ditches. Doesn't mean there are less people, but you got to focus on the overwhelming amount of people. The other stuff will take care of itself. The Democrats are hurting them. The Democrats, if they signed today, understand this, if they signed it today, every single one of these people would get paid. Nothing would change. By them not signing it, they want to keep these people in limbo.
Markets are also reacting well so far.
Rick, the stock market has been telling us what to believe ever since Liberation Day. The stock market said this is not going to be the end of the world. Like so many, like almost unanimously, business reporters that tariffs were the end of the world.
I'm going to go back to New York prior to the election where my buddy was talking. He goes, tariffs. We are going to be so rich. We are going to make so much money. And you guys laugh because I keep quoting him. I don't know, maybe I do sound like him, but I remember that speech. I remember that speech because I was doing something over here while he was talking, and I stopped and turned my head and listened to Howard Lutnick talk as he was saying this stuff. He was convinced He convinced me. And then Scott Bessent said the same thing. Yeah, it's rocket ship. And right now the Democrats are doing everything they can. They're throwing big nets over the rocket, and they're holding on for dear life to hurt the country. Just imagine this. Just imagine for a second. Imagine since Liberation Day, if they said, President Trump, this is a great idea. I can't believe you came up with this. We are behind this 100%. Strap on. Let me get a seat on this rocket ship. Can you imagine where people would be today? They are intentionally trying to hold this rocket back on the launch pad. It's fighting its way up. It just keeps trying to go. And they're doing everything they can to, one, tell you it didn't get off the ground and it's bad for you. And you don't even know what's going to happen. The sky's going to fall in. Everything they're doing isn't for the American people. These anarchists are trying their best to burn it down, and they can't figure out how to stop this immutable object called the Trump train that's just barreling, has so much steam behind it. And he's making them fight on so many different fronts. SB sent me something. Where's this? Okay, where's this? Yeah. The Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier has been ordered to deploy to United States Southern Command Area of Responsibility, heading down to South America. How many of you really think that all of this is about blowing drug boats out of the water? See, we don't have the full story, but I'm pretty sure there's some military people who might see this and go, this ain't got nothing to do with these little boats carrying stuff. There's something going on. There's something big going on. Aircraft carrier? You're going to park an aircraft carrier off the coast of Venezuela or Colombia? And you think this is about drugs? I don't think so. There's something else going on. You saw yesterday, Canada, they're trying everything they can do to tamp down America. They put out a fake ad using Reagan. And President Trump said, guess what? Now I ain't got nothing to say to you. You're done. They keep poking this bear, and he keeps turning around and biting their hands off to protect you. He doesn't, hey, you guys want to do what you want and these other countries, go ahead. It ain't happening here. And not the Democrats won't even support anything. Well, you're blowing up people in boats without giving them due process. You blew that. We saw what you did with the Maryland man. Oh my God, what a spectacle. You dragged this poor guy all around the world, using him as some sort of messiah for your crazy globalist ideology, and it got you nothing. And now you're on the precipice of the Supreme Court completely annihilating you. Good luck.
Here we are, up, what are we up, 36%
Absolutely.
Since then?
36%. 36%. Gold, like 40, 50. Silver, like 40, 50. Real estate, depending upon where you are, is going up. About to go up even further. If you're looking to buy that house, I don't care where you are in the country, you're about to see something happen when the interest rates drop next week. The mortgage rates have already been influenced. The mortgage rates have already dropped. Not a lot. I think it's from like 6.25 to 6.1 or something like that. But they're going to continue to go down. And then, of course, you got the holiday shopping. The retail numbers this year are going to be sick. Absolutely sick.
Yeah, I think this is actually a really great report, and the market is responding appropriately to really good news, because 48 economists for Bloomberg said that this number was going to go way up. And if you look at the core CPI, which is the thing that economists rely most on because it takes out some volatile things like gasoline, it was down from August and below expectation and headed in the right direction. And the top line number was a little bit up, but that was because there was a refinery shutdown in September, and so gas prices went up. But we've already seen that gas prices are going way down in October. So the next time we get a CPI release, when they open the government again, then we're going to see.
I want to push that back, because I want you to understand, as you've been hearing some of these numbers. Okay, when you heard the ladies talk, and some people are like, it was expected, and you're like, well, if it was expected and it didn't hit that point, then it wasn't good. Just the opposite. They thought it was going to be worse than it is. They expected it, Wall Street, thought the Consumer Price Index, which is the CPI that I asked you about earlier, the CPI, they expected, the forecast was for 3.1. However, the forecast came in at 3.0. So it's lower than the number they thought it was going to be.
CPI release, when they open the government again, that we're going to see even further reductions in inflation.
All right, so catch that. When they open the government, it's going to get even better, which is why the Democrats don't want to open the government. If they thought the thing was going to implode, they're like, oh yeah, we got them. Let's go ahead and open it because it's awful. No, they're seeing the numbers too. They've got economists that they work with, and the economists are telling them, once this thing opens, if you don't have a seat and you're not strapped in, yeah, it's not an if, it's a when. And because it's a when, they're kind of freaked out right now. They're in no man's land. They don't know what to do. Like he just said, yeah, once they open it up, it's gonna fly.
Yeah, quite surprising. I would honestly, sometimes you look at the numbers and you just go, whoa, it kind of pops off the screen. This is going to...
All right, so I love this. And this is why I titled this, Nobody Cares. Whether or not you believe in polls, whether or not you put any substance in polls, the reason I'm going to show you this is because this is a CNN poll. So they're obviously not in Trump's camp. And what they're going to show you, I believe the numbers here are from Gallup. And I think that they're showing this because somewhere they may be telling the Democrats, telegraphing to them, give up the ghost. This isn't working for you. You're in big, big trouble. The numbers that he's going to show you surprised the hell out of me. I didn't know. Well, without further ado.
A contrarian take. What are we talking about? Well, you know, Matt was mentioning about the econ playing such an important role in last year's presidential election. The top problem facing the U.S. is economic per Gallup. Last year, look at this, 43% at this time, 43% of Americans said the top problem was economic. Come to this side of the screen.
It's the economy, stupid. Since a month before the election, people were like, man, I'm really, really concerned about the economy. And now, a year later, 10 months after he got inaugurated, only 24% of Americans are worried about the economy. Let that sink in. That includes Democrats and Republicans and independents. So 24% is probably this much when you take out the Democrats. It's probably 10 or 12%. So if only 10, 12% of people give a crap about how the economy is right now, it's not even my top priority. The top problems facing the U.S. is economic. Nope, that's not, we don't care about it. We don't care. 24%? Are you kidding me? That you get a 24% number like that, that doesn't even show up on the radar of a politician. 24%. How many of them are Republicans and Democrats? Well, this many? This many people in my base care about the economy right now? I ain't signing crap. They better come crawling. When I saw these numbers, I had to go look up and look at Gallup. I'm like, wow, nobody really cares about the government being shut down.
It's just considerably different. We're talking about 24%. We're talking about a drop of nearly 20 points. And more than that, we're talking about across all of the different political groups, right? Democrats, independents, Republicans. We see that the percentage who say the top problem is economic has been falling,
So what are we worried about? What the heck are these Democrats talking? Millionaires and billionaires, and the sky is falling, and the health, and the American people are like, what are they talking about, man? This is good. I'm crushing it. Sorry about your luck.
Has been falling through the floor. And more than that, we're talking about inflation. The percentage of Americans who say that the top problem is inflation has also been falling, which is, I think, very much surprising given all the news that we are hearing about the economy.
All the news that your comrades report about the economy. All the news that MSNBC reports about the economy. You're seeing what real Americans think, and you're like, wow, I can't believe this with all the news I'm hearing. That's because you're listening to the wrong news. That's the problem. That's what I wanted to show you guys here today on a Friday is the gloom and doom of the media does not match the economic sentiment of Americans. And I told you this for months. I'm like, wait till you see what happens in October and September. Wait until football season comes. Wait until you see people buying $100 tickets and paying $50 to park a car and then spending $250 on concessions and merchandise. And then you're going to see how things really work in this economy. I go down to the Dolphins game, who suck, and even though they suck, I'm sitting next to people and talking to them, and I'm like, where's your wife? Oh, she went over to the merchandise stand. And she comes back with a shopping bag full of stuff. And you walk through and you look at the parking lot, and it's packed. And we suck. And then you turn on Saturday night, turn on tonight, watch again. I've been telling you this. These people don't look like, economy. I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it. Because the idea behind this entire thing is to do things to make you basically Democrat-proof. Democrat-proof your business. Democrat-proof your home. Democrat-proof your own personal economy. And that way you become completely agnostic to the idiocy that they do. Again, if you're skating to where the puck is, even if you're in the military, you knew, and I'm sure it was told, that something like this could happen. That we knew they were going to probably try and shut down the government. If you don't know, you know it's going to happen again in a month or two. Even if they came in yesterday, even if they crawled in today, they got to do it all over again in November. It's going to keep happening. So how do you become completely shut down agnostic? Get yourself in a position where these people doesn't matter what they do. However, by whatever means necessary.
Really, it's surprising. How does this compare to the historical look at how people feel about the economy?
Okay, so let's talk about, we'll go through history, right? Let's take a look. The top problem facing the United States is economic. In the average midterm election, it's 35%. It's 35%. Look at where we are now. Again, it's 24%. It is lower. Fewer Americans right.
And that's a year before the midterms. So again, if you're one who looks at projections or what's on horizon, if you're one who skates to where the puck is going to be, and you're a Democrat and you say only 24% of people care now, this rocket ship comes off, where do you think it's going to be in October next year? When their people are about to go and vote. It doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all for the Democrats, because one of the reasons I say it doesn't look good is because they don't seem to have any strategy to combat it. What's your strategy? Bitch about newcomers? Try to cry about people being taken out of this country? That's the only thing you stand for? That number is going to fall tremendously. It may get into the 12 and 15s. People don't care. I am not at all influenced by them removing and deporting. How many people do you know are at all influenced by people being deported? Don't care. Doesn't cross my mind. I sleep very well at night. Bye. Your No Kings protest means nothing. You imagine spending $300 million like they did on a No Kings protest and then seeing numbers like that? Nobody cares. You may have the entirety of the 24% out there running around. while the rest of people are living their lives.
Now we're saying the top problem is economic, then historically have said that the top problem is economic. So it's not only that the top problem being economic is lower than we were at this time last year, it is lower than we have historically been despite all the news about how the economy is supposedly softening.
History. It's not just soft now, it's the softest in history, which would basically correlate to the stock market's at its highest point in history. The misery lovers aren't having any effect. The misery lovers, people are driving by them going, that's some pathetic looking people over there. Where are we headed? We got to go to that restaurant, honey. Wow. Hey, what are you going to do? Go shopping? Yeah, look, there's some people over there protesting. I don't care. None of us care. I often wonder how many people actually understand these kind of numbers and everything, because as it is right now,
I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care.
And I don't mean to be flippant. Let me just keep underscoring that. As a populist, I guess you can say, I think about all of us. I think about where we are as a group. And I empathize with people who are in a position where they need help, where they need to understand how they're going to be able to feed their families through this. I understand that. I'm talking about for the bulk, the large number of us that are okay and doing well. The other stuff, it's tough. It is absolutely tough. But I do know this. I do know that I give. I do know that many of you give. I do know there is help. I do know if someone is looking for some support, there is support available. There are food banks all over the place. I know many landlords who are helping people get through this situation. Nobody wants to evict somebody who's had a good history but has run into a bad situation. So the tiers that the Democrats are trying to invoke are based upon those people who don't want to find a way out. And that's what I find to be very sad.
So you just look at these numbers and you just go to yourself, wait a minute, there's something going on here with the American public whereby you're getting all this economic news, but yet the percentage of Americans who say the top problem is economic has actually been falling and is lower than it normally is.
It's fascinating. All right. How are people feeling about the shutdown vis-a-vis whether that's having an impact on the economy?
You know, the story of this segment has essentially been that fewer people are saying that the economy is a top problem than historically were a year ago. And so perhaps not surprisingly, we'll end on this note. Harm shutdown is having on the economy, a great deal or quite a bit. Back in 2013, the last time we had this measure during a shutdown, it was 65%. You come over to this side of the screen, again.
It's like the same way the vote is. The Republicans, and I would say mostly Republicans, are like, I don't care about the shutdown. I mean, that basically is our population right now. Half of them are Democrats. I mean, it's right there. But we don't care. We're moving on with life. We're making sure we're prepared. We've done our preparations. Like I mentioned to you before, there's a hurricane out there swirling around in the ocean. Everybody here in South Florida, you got your water, got your gas, got your cash just in case. And the other 48% who end up going to No Kings rallies and stuff, they're the ones freaking out.
It's significantly lower. It's 48%. It's less than a majority. So what we're talking about here is, again, fewer Americans are saying the top problem is economic compared to last year and historically. And what we're seeing is fewer Americans are saying that the shutdown is causing a great deal or quite a bit of harm to the economy. So at this particular point, yes, it is true that perhaps Americans don't like the direction that the economy is going, but where it ranks on their list of issues has actually been falling.
Well, that was some mental gymnastics. People, yeah, it's true. People don't like the way the economy is going, but in terms of priority, it's way down. Well, if I cared about it, it would be much higher. If I cared about what was going on, wouldn't it be something that I would have answered the question, oh yeah, I care about the economy, but it's not most important right now. Notice he didn't tell you what the number one question that was most important, because they don't want you to hear that either. See, it's almost like an act of omission. Hey, Harry, what was the number one concern? I would almost say if economy wasn't a big concern, I would wager a bet, not like an NBA bet, but I would wager a bet that it was getting getting these people out of here. See, I'm looking at these people on CNN as they sit there, and she's got her nice leather suit on, and he's got a gray suit on, and I bet you if you looked up, these two people are making in excess of $300,000-$400,000 a year. They're not the big names. There's some lower names here, but they're making a lot of money. There is nobody in the media who's making that kind of money who isn't taking advantage of the Trump economy. They go to their happy hours, they have their dinner parties and everything else, and they're exchanging all kinds of information. Hey, how much gold you get? How much silver you got? Yeah, okay. Hey, which stock are you buying? That's the biggest hypocrisy with the left. Because every single one of them who try to show disdain about capitalism are some of the biggest capitalists out there. If that wasn't true, why would Rachel Maddow want a $20 million a year contract? Oh no, I couldn't take that much. There are people hungry. You didn't have to take it. Nobody ever asked these questions. Hey, Anderson Cooper, why are you making $15 million a year? Wouldn't you be okay with $2 million and giving the other, $13 million to hungry people in Chicago? Hey, Wolf Blitzer. Hey, so-and-so. Hey, but no, those questions never come up because they're the ones who ask the questions. They all complain about the ballroom. Why don't you all put some money up for it? Or if you're worried, put some money for the people in the military. Nope, not a word. It disgusts me. I almost think when President Trump puts out the things that says the military is being paid, somebody offered $130 million. And I just wonder why we never see big name entertainers and sports figures. You know what? That's a good idea. I'll give $5 million. Where's Taylor Swift? Where's LeBron James? Where's XYZ person? Y'all couldn't come up with, I don't know, between 100 of you? Hey, Jay-Z, you couldn't come up with 100 million with 100 of you? Take just 100 celebrities and say, can you match this? Each of us is going to put in $1 million. And we're going to make sure that these food banks and everything else that people need are completely stocked. You ever wonder why that doesn't happen? If they're so worried about the little people, why aren't you helping the little people? Nope, you're never going to see it.
Fascinating. Thank you so much, Harry. That is a contrarian report.
A contrarian report from a contrarian guy.
You were so not that. Nice try.
I try.
That was contrarian on my part.
The witty repartee. But it's the ballroom. Oh, the ballroom.
Is there even one person in the United States who's being impacted by the ballroom? Anybody? Are you guys okay? There's a ballroom being built. Everybody okay? and in order to build the ballroom, they're going to they have to knock down the building that was there. Are you all okay? Did anybody get knocked down when they knocked down the building? You're all okay? I was told this would be an emergency. It would be a problem. All right, I'm glad you're okay.
Oh, as Scott is fighting off death. I saw that today, and I was like, oh my gosh, everybody okay? You sure? You sure you're all right? You're not just like all dying and everything because, it's absolutely nuts. I'll take some comments here in a second, but that's the kind of stuff that just cracks me up. Oh, it's just too funny. I want to tell you about the bundle this time from Patriot Addict. Let me go ahead. I got to click a button here. Where is it? It's this button. All right. So, Patriot Addict, they've got this huge berries pack that they're selling, right? And when I say selling, it's barely selling. They have the Trump Collector's Bundle for you. We've affectionately named it the Berry Pack. The Berry Pack is the ultimate Trump collection featuring the Trump 4547 hat, a Trump 2024 flag. Wait a second. Let me go ahead and back up and show you the 2024 flag. And hopefully the lights don't go right through it and turn into a Max Headroom type thing. Yeah, it looks like it might. But anyway, this is the Trump flag. I'm trying to push back so you guys can actually see it. Or push forward. Anyway, that's the Trump 2024 flag. It's a big flag. Yeah, you can definitely be flying it out on your porch or something. And then, of course, as a part of this, you're probably not going to see it all. Let me make sure if I get it, because using the green screen light, it might not show. But this is the Trump blanket. Where is it? Was it going to show? Or is it going to show through? It's going to show through. But this is the Donald Trump blanket. Ah! The screen's not showing it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anyway, this is the Donald Trump blanket. You guys have seen it. I'm trying to make it show it shows. It won't show through the green screen. But anyway, you got that and you got that. All right. I do know you've seen the Trump red knife. Yeah, you can see that. All right. So you get the Trump red knife. So you get the blanket. You get the Trump hat. You get the knife. You get all of this. And the red knife, the blanket, the hat, and the flag. You get all four of those things, all four of them. I'm sure you'll love them. People have gotten it. They're absolutely fantastic. And with every free berry pack that goes out, you're not going to pay any fees or anything. Normally, altogether, that would cost $238. But we're practically giving them away from Patriot Addict. They're only just $69 for all four things, right? Let me just recap that. You get the 4547 hat, you get the red knife, you get the flag, and you get the blanket for $69. So I strongly recommend, if you're interested in this stuff, to go ahead and jump on it, hit the QR code over here, or go to the website. They're only setting aside 500 of these packs. Or you can go to berrypack.com, berrypack.com, to claim yours before they disappear forever. People have loved this. You get the hat, you get the flag, you get the blanket, you get the red knife, all for just $69. Normally a $240 value. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, you need to jump on that right away. And thank you to the guys at Patriot Addict for all of their help and how they've been a huge help since probably for over a year at this point. All right, I'll be right back. Do you struggle with tingling, numbness, or painful sensations in your hands or your feet? There's new research showing that a tiny seed may hold the key to lasting relief. Backed by 33 years of clinical studies, doctors have found this seed helps restore healthy nerve function, relieving pain, numbness, and tingling, while also supporting balanced blood sugar levels. For years, this natural breakthrough was buried by Big Pharma, obviously, and hidden away to protect their profits. But now, a maverick doctor has rediscovered its power, and he's making it available to the public. Imagine what it would feel like to finally walk without pain, sleep without burning or tingling in your feet, and get back the comfort you thought you'd lost. To see exactly how this works, just scan the QR code on your screen. You don't got to do it now, but scan that QR code on your screen, or go to myprimal.life, myprimal.life/berry. Don't wait. Find out how this tiny seed can help switch off nerve pain starting today. You know, it's wild. Every year, Big Pharma rakes in billions keeping people hooked on pain pills, but never actually fixing the problem. If you deal with daily pain, please listen closely, because there's finally something that's breaking that cycle. It's called canalidine. That's what it's called. And people are calling it nature's morphine. Whew. Here's why. It gives you that same kind of powerful relief, without any pills. No mind fog, no risk at all of addiction. It actually helps your body activate its own natural painkillers, the same ones that pain meds try to mimic. After 14 years of research and over 2 million bottles have already been shipped, it's because it works. Real people are getting their lives back, sleeping better, moving again, and doing it naturally. And right now you can try it risk-free for 90 days. What that means is if you buy this in 90 days, you don't like it, you get your money back. No gimmicks, no subscription, just honest relief from GDR Labs, made right here in the United States. If you're tired of being a part of Big Pharma's business model, it's time to break free. Click the link below in the description or visit trycono.com/Barry. Trycono, TRYCONO.com/Barry. Alrighty, I'm back. I had to hit the mute on my microphone because I was laughing so hard at what I just saw. I'm going to share it with you. I was wondering why this had never happened before. And now it's showing how bold the conservative movement is becoming. It says, epic conservatives in Portland decided to counter the leftists who were burning American flags by burning the LGBT pride flag. I don't like that. It's genius. That is absolutely genius. They started burning. Look! Oh no! Oh no! Oh gosh! Oh! Ooh! Oh! They didn't think of that. I was wondering when it was going to happen, and now it's happening. They're all gonna freak out. They're burning the flag. That's as bad as like burning a George Floyd picture or something. They're gonna go bat poop crazy. They're gonna need mental help. Call Dr. Paula or whoever. Oh my gosh. Oh, I need more of that. I need Raven CV says, works for me. Kim Canadian, it's going to keep coming. You know that's going to, whoa, good for them. I never thought about that. SV is like, I never thought about that. Oh, and you see them all, oh gosh. Oh my gosh. That's too much. Oh, I can't even imagine. They would be absolutely losing it. Sounding like, the zombies or something, watching their hive burn down. Oh, that's going to spread. That's going to spread. The only problem is that in order to burn a flag, you would have to buy one to burn it. And nobody wants to give money to the LGBTQISS, whatever, all of them. Unless you happen to come upon a flag that you could burn. Oh, it is Halloween after all. It's going to be prankster time. Just saying. I'm not advocating anybody rip down a rainbow flag, but if you happen to come along and see one, but film the burning though, please. Let's continue. What do I got right now for you? Oh, I got a bunch of bad day. This is Hakeem Jeffries' bad day.
Yeah, we haven't shut the government down. Donald Trump is the president. Republicans control the House and the Senate. And what we've repeatedly made clear is that we would not support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people in an environment where Republicans already enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers are closing because of Republican policies in their one big ugly bill all across the country. Medicare is facing a $536 billion cut at the end of the year.
What's funny, he goes on these shows and you can tell he's just repeating everything he's had from his cue card. And so when people go off script and like throw him a question, you can almost see him short circuit because
unless Congress acts, again connected to the one big ugly bill. And now Republicans are refusing to even consider extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits when open enrollment starts on November 1st. This is a now issue.
But Leader Jeffries, you kind of conflated a spending bill with a clean CR. It's only 24 pages. It keeps...
You see, their spiel only works if nobody questions them. That's the idea. They're so used to going on MSNBC and all their other ones where they spew this stuff and nobody comes back at them. And they go on a not even unfriendly network, but people who actually have functioning frontal lobes and ask questions, and they short circuit.
The government open at this point, and the House passed it. It's ready to go. The Senate has it. I know that the Republicans...
Sorry, but that's a good point. The House already passed it. Why are we seeing Hakeem Jeffries everywhere? You see, he's not... They already did their job. Like Mike Johnson always says, who's the Speaker of the House, we've already done our job. There's nothing that Hakeem Jeffries can do, period. He's completely done. He has no say over anything in the Senate. The bill is sitting in the Senate. He can't do anything. I don't think enough people realize he's completely irrelevant at this point. He's trying to make himself relevant.
Control everything, but you know how the filibuster works, and God forbid Republicans, fold on the filibuster, because it'll be used, both parties will use it against the other. It's one of the last safeguards.
See, that's one of my problems. Do you not think, given the opportunity, the Democrats, if they were in the same situation, would have already used the filibuster? I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of us trying to play nice with these people. As Dan used to say, cutesy time is frippin' over. Drop the hammer on them. Be done with them. I don't know why we keep trying to get 60 votes. Change the rules, which he can do. Change it. Say we're only going to bust this filibuster, and then pass what you need to pass. The idea, from my perspective, is not to play nice with these people because you're worried they might do it to you. You should be confident that they will do it to you. You should be 100% sure, well, if this was them, they would have already done it. Yeah. So then do it. What the hell are you waiting for? Don't ever let these people get in a position where they think that they can wield power, because if they do, we're done. They will do whatever they can, as you're seeing, to advance their agenda. And the Republicans right now are playing nice. No, we don't want to go there yet. We don't want to go nuclear on these people. Nuclear? I'm saying theoretically, metaphorically. Go Nagasaki on these Democrats. That's what's needed. Completely eviscerate them. Metaphorically, I'm not saying, dropping bomb on them. I'm talking about theoretically, eviscerate them. Stop waiting for them to vote.
It make the Senate different than the House. And the only reason the Senate can't do it is purely because of Democrats. And you had one of your colleagues in the Senate say, this is the only leverage we have. People are going to get hurt. This is the only leverage we have to get what we want on health care. That's a bad look.
It said what you are asking the Republicans to do right now, when they control the White House, the Senate, and the House, is effectively what the Democrats could not do when they controlled all three of those heads of government themselves.
Shh. Why are you bringing up old stuff, girl? You're not supposed to let people know we failed. We were in control and couldn't get it done. Again, Democrats can only be Democrats if they have no memories. The whole idea behind being a Democrat is that you can be two-faced and lie, and nobody ever brings up your two-facedness and you're lying. And so when they go on these kind of shows and people bring it up, he can just stare at the screen and look really mad, and he's trying to figure out what's the mantra he needs to repeat now.
The 10-year setup for this, for these, or the 3-year setup for the expiration of these credits was intentionally put in. It was put in when you controlled the White House, the House, and the Senate. You couldn't get it passed for longer. And so this is a setup that kind of your own creation that you all couldn't extend beyond that. Now you want the Republicans to do something you didn't do when you were in power?
That short 30-second question she asked him is something that the Democrats don't want people to know. They set this up, probably thinking they would be in control, never thinking President Trump would come back. They snuck it through. They rammed it down people's throats, actually, and said, we're going to do Obamacare. This is it. And we're going to hide all this crap. And then in 10 years, we're going to just go ahead and re-up it and pay for it, and everything will be fine, but we'll be in charge, so there won't be any worry. They gambled. They went to the poker table, and somebody else had the filter on and saw the cards that they played, and they lost. And so now they're trying to blame their mistake or their scam on the Republicans. When you guys did it, why didn't you do it then? Well, we didn't want everybody to know this thing was going to explode. This was an IED, a political IED. They sat it there and let people walk past it for the last 10 years, and now it's about to go boom. This political IED that they stuck on everybody should have been seen by people, but the media and the Democrats lied to people. Everybody on the right was like, this is crap. Actually, this is crap in a bag. This is huge crapola. There's no way it can ever work. How do I know it can never work? Because it was set up not to work. The only way Obamacare ever works is if you're paying for it. So that means as soon as you didn't have to pay for it, boom. And so right now when they're saying things like, hey, your health care is about to double or triple, or it's going to go up to like $6,000 or $10,000 deductible, because you wrote it that way. No other reason. No other reason. They can't admit it. She's just calling him on it. You'll hear his answer. But you rest assured the reason why this stuff is going to explode in a couple days or weeks is because that was their intention all along, because we couldn't tell you how much you were paying for it. And now people are like, I don't want it. I don't want that. I'm 25. Why am I paying into it? Think about it. When you were 25 and 26 and 27, what kind of health insurance did you have? I don't know. I never went to the doctor. I was playing ball, and then after I got done playing football, if I got the sneezes or something, I went to urgent care and paid it with a credit card. I didn't need insurance. What? How much? You want me to pay X amount of dollars per month, and then if I get... No, I'm feeling pretty good. And of course, then you get married and you have kids, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, now you're in a different ball game. But then when you get a job, your job gives you insurance. Oh, that's right. They don't got jobs. And you try to pass all that on us. And like we'd never know. You just keep paying. Just keep paying more. And then when it hits 10 years from now, yeah, you're going to have to give up even more. We're not paying for it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry people took the easy way out. I'm not talking about people who absolutely have to have it. But you gave these people a carrot, and now you ripped the carrot out of their face.
It's not a setup beyond what we could do. We extended the Affordable Care Act tax credits in 2022 for 3 years.
Understand that term. We extended the tax credits. I don't know, you might want to Google tax credits. While he's talking, you can Google tax credits and find out the people getting Obamacare, are they paying any taxes?
The program is working. It's providing health care to tens of millions of people in an affordable way, and it should be continued. It's interesting to us.
Yeah, it's funny. I got this comment from Photog. Barry, the nuclear option is changing the rules to 51. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm saying. If the Democrats were in this position, that would have been changed already. They would have long said, hey, it's 51 and we're done. We don't need to even talk to you. What I'm pissed off is that the Republicans are not doing it. When I say go Nagasaki or Hiroshima right now on the Democrats, I'm saying go nuclear, make it 51, fix this. Fix it so it never happens again, because there are so many things you could do right now if you went nuclear. You want voter ID? Sorry, we're going to do it with 51. And then there will never be another Democrat president. That's why I'm saying go for it, because the worry that if they get back in power, that they'll do it to you, they'll never get back in power. They cannot get to they can't win a fair election.
That Republicans decided that they would prefer to permanently extend massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors
I'm pretty sure many of you here got tax breaks. They're trying to denigrate people and they think it's just some big fat cats that get tax breaks. No, I'm pretty sure many of you earned the tax breaks that you are getting. I am so sick of people trying to pretend like it's only billionaires who get tax breaks. That's why I was telling you yesterday or a couple of days ago about capital gains. How are you doing with that? What are you writing off? How are you doing things? All these different things that are completely available to you right now. You don't have to be a billionaire. You can play like a billionaire. You can go spend a night in a Holiday Inn Express and go, I'm a billionaire, and start using that on your taxes. If you're filing a 1040EZ form, you need to have your head examined. If you're not itemizing and scheduling, you need to talk to somebody. Seriously. There are so many different things that you can do to make your tax basis much more appealing, especially with the one big beautiful bill. See, no one's going to tell you. They're not. The media's not. They know. But it might be worth $200 or $300 to sit down with an accountant and say, hey, listen, what do I get with this big beautiful bill thing? Oh, you get to write off 100% of this. What? You get to write off 100% of that. Huh? Or 60% of that. You mean that's just not for Elon? No, you can take it too. You can do it. Look, go look at all the tax credits and benefits the one big beautiful bill gives somebody under $100,000. You'd be amazed.
One big ugly bill.
Than the Fed's target range or than anybody feels comfortable with. The problem is inflation is often caused by government spending. Additional government spending is not likely to get it to the point where we are going to see less inflation out there. How do you handle that?
This is not additional government spending.
It is additional government spending. You're looking for another $350 billion of...
He thought he was on MSNBC and not CNBC. She's not some ditzy blonde. She's like, I can count. Okay, my job here is I count. That's what I do. I count money. Oh, it is. Uh-huh. Oh, you're one of them smart ones, huh? Yes, I know what I'm talking about. And he's got no way out now. Now he's just going to try and filibuster right here.
Additional government spending over the next 10 years?
We're actually extending a tax credit that currently exists. And what's interesting is that in that one big ugly bill where Republicans raised the debt ceiling by about
He's so used to talking to certain people who are stupid or they're liars. Well, we're not raising the money. Yeah, you are. You're asking for $350 million more. Oh, no. Help. Because once you meet fact with these people, they're toast. Absolutely toast.
Any bipartisan legislation that comes out of the Senate that is designed to decisively address the Republican health care crisis, reopen the government, and enact a bipartisan spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people. That's what we're prepared to support.
Leader Jeffries, good morning. I understand the Democrats' position on health care and Obamacare here, but with the open enrollment period starting on the 1st, hasn't that ship legislatively sailed?
No, the challenge is going to become even more significant for Congress and the president to deal with if this government shutdown drags on to November 1st. Open enrollment starts on November 1st. At that point in time, Americans all across the country are going to begin to further realize that their premiums, copays, and deductibles are going to skyrocket. And why?
So why is that? You know, they say that all the time. Your premiums are going to skyrocket on November 1st. If you don't give us what we want, this is what's going to happen. And nobody ever asks him, well, what's changing? Why is it that on November 1st, this is what's going to happen? Because if they answered that question truthfully, it blows up the Democrat Party. They never asked that question. Yeah, on November 1st, it's going to raise, and it's going to go up dramatically. Why? Do you know why? because they need your money. If the government, it's not the government giving them more money, it's you. When they're saying he's giving tax breaks to billionaires, what he's saying is, I want their money. The Democrats never want to let people prosper on their own, no matter what level. See, that's the only thing they told you, that taxes weren't going to be raised on anybody over under $400,000 a year. Lie. And now it's such a lie that you're screaming it from the mountaintops that on November 1st, people are screwed because you went all in on Obamacare. And now people need to ask you, why is it going up? And your only answer is that, he's giving stuff to millionaires and billionaires?
Is that happening? Because Republicans decided earlier this year that they'd rather gut Medicaid and then provide massive tax breaks to their billionaire donors, make those tax breaks permanent. But now, as we
see, they have no leadership, and because they have no leadership, they have nobody stewarding this boat. You're giving a message and you're telling a message that people don't listen to at this point. You're saying the same thing over and over again, and everybody knows you're full of crap. So instead of addressing what you really want, healthcare for newcomers, healthcare LGBTQ in Botswana, all these different things, why not sit there? You know what I'd love to see? Why wouldn't they have an actual public debate? You could go debate Mike Johnson. All right. And then have three people up there going, hey, so I'm reading here the bill. The bill says this. Is this true, Hakeem Jeffries? Do you want to give $160 gazillion so that people know how to put on condoms in Botswana? It says it right here. And that's been the power of what the Republicans have been doing. They've been merely telling people, go read it yourself. And I think what has happened is many people indeed have taken him up on that and said, you know what, I'm not going to believe politicians anymore. I'm going to go read this document myself. And then when they read it and they turn on the television, they're like, this guy's lying through his teeth every single day. It would be a very short debate. This says here on line number 6, you want to give this to this. Is this true? And it's over. The only way they can continue their charade is by lying to everybody. If you haven't read, it's only 24 pages. If you haven't read it, put it in the chat. Maybe I download it tomorrow and we'll go through it line by line so you can personally see everything the Democrats are asking for. If you haven't read it yourself, maybe it's time. Maybe you'll see it and go, wait a second. How come he keeps saying they're not raising? Yeah. He can't win because the people aren't asking him the right questions. They won't come on this show. I would tell them, hey, listen, I'm looking at paragraph 1, line item 6. It says that you want, you want to have transformer work on donkeys in Sudan. Is that true? What's he going to say? So if you guys want me to download it tomorrow, I'll spend the time. It's like I said, it's only 24 pages. And once you get past all the heretofores and wheretofores and all that kind of crap, it's about 15 pages. And just get to paragraph 1, 2, 3. Where's the money at? I want to know where the money. All the other stuff, fine. Show me what they're asking for. And if you see that, you will be armed and you'll be able to have conversation with people and go, he's lying. Lying, lying. Like the woman from CNBC said, you're asking for $350 gazillion. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. I read it. Democrats count on stupid people.
Approach open enrollment have zero interest in actually extending Affordable Care Act tax credits that benefit working families, middle-class families, and everyday Americans. And so the crisis has grown worse because of Republican inaction over the last several weeks. And if we get to November 1st and we hit open enrollment and Republicans have still refused to act with respect to the Affordable Care Act tax credits, I think that's going to increase the intensity and need for for urgent legislative action to take place.
How is it going to increase it? Yeah, people are going to be screaming in the street, but forget the affordable care. November 1st, people stop getting their food stamps. What are you going to do about that? Well, I want to let you know something right now. Just as though President Trump got something for the military to get paid, you just watch in the next 4 or 5 days what happens. I'm telling you, it's coming. He's going to... Ever see the movie, what was it, with Matt Damon? Matt Damon played a bank robber, and he's like, it clipped the nuts. He's going to clip these people's nuts, right in the open. I would bet you that sometime within the next 5 or 6 days, President Trump is going to say, yeah, I got some people who gave me some money, and I also got some tariff money, and we're going to pay for food stamps. It's coming. If I was betting, I would put the chip on that he's just waiting, and then like October 31st on Halloween, drop that. Yeah, we're going to pay for that too. What? Yeah, we're going to pay for food stamps for people who deserve it. See, that's the other part of it. Food stamps don't have to run out. I'm pretty sure there's enough tariff money to pay food stamps. The problem they're having is the condition for the food stamps. That's the big difference. Hey, get off your butt and sign up to work 80 hours a month somewhere. That's why they're having a complete freak out. You'll get your money if you're actually putting some skin in the game. And then once that happens, once they say, we've got the money, show me you're working, that's when it's going to really destroy the Democrat Party, because you're going to realize it's all these people not just worried about getting their SNAP benefits, they're worried about having to prove that they're doing 80 hours a month. The most minimal of standards, $80, 80 hours a month, 3 hours a day. You can't do 3 hours a day? Then you don't need the food stamps.
Retroactivity.
Well, Republicans in the House and the Senate, from the very beginning of the Trump presidency, haven't functioned like they are a separate and co-equal branch of government. What we've seen from Republicans in the House and the Senate is that they behave like a wholly owned subsidiary of Donald Trump and the Trump cartel. That's how they behave.
Oh, we're a cartel now. Now we're a cartel. These people need to really watch what they're saying here. They're trying to put crosshairs on all of us. We're Nazis, we're fascists, racist, homophobe, deplorables, and now we are cartel members. I heard you.
A reckless rubber stamp for Donald Trump's extreme agenda, even when they're hurting their own constituents, because that's what Republicans did in the One Big Ugly Bill. Largest cut to Medicaid in American history, ripped food from the mouths of children, seniors, and hungry veterans.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt just posted a clip of an interview that you did on Fox last week. You were answering a question from Fox's Chad Pergram about blame for the shutdown. I want to look at the post here.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times we have.
How is... Okay, yeah, I'll let you hear what she says in response. But she actually said those words. Those very words on film, no AI. She said, this is our leverage. And it blew up when people realize you're leveraging people's lives for political points. And now that it's blown up, she had this to say.
Leavitt is looking especially at that last bit you said there, saying that Democrats, quote, are now admitting that they are intentionally causing American families to suffer with their reckless government shutdown. What's your response to that?
Well, that is right out of her playbook of half-truths, taking things out of context.
How do you take out of context somebody's exact words. That kind of spin works on CNN. It should never work with you guys. You heard the entire context. Wait, this is our exact point of leverage. We've never had this kind of leverage. What was out of context? They never think that this is going to happen because they're so used to lying and gaslighting that they don't realize normal people look at this and go, what'd you just say? And you got caught. You got caught with your pants down. Too bad.
And not being straight with the American people.
Not being straight with the American people. Well, you just had a little bit of time to discuss that. Why didn't you tell people what you meant? You could have easily just said right then and there, oh, what I really meant was, I'm too stupid to use the words that I really want to say, but I meant like, what? Leverage is leverage. It's pretty simple.
I do think there's a frustration with our controllers that Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, they're all going to get their paychecks. Well, these men and women who control our skies aren't going to be paid because of the shutdown. I think there's also a frustration that the shutdown is about paying for health care benefits for illegal immigrants. I think our controllers, who again are great Americans, want their Congress to focus on America and Americans and are asking the question, why is the Congress, why are Senate Democrats focused on health care benefits for illegals? Maybe focus on me and my paycheck and the services that I provide. Open up the government, negotiate, have a conversation, but don't hold them, their paychecks, their families hostage so you can give benefits to illegal migrants. I think that truly is an overarching concern and theme, and I appreciate that NACA doesn't get political. They don't. But what I think you will hear from Nick is they're asking for the government to open. They're asking for everyone to come together, make sure they all get paid, and then take the time to have conversations, to negotiate. But the answer is never shut down the government. The answer is open the government and then have a dialogue, come to a resolution.
I don't think we can get to a resolution. I think the Democrats have gotten to a point where most of their voters rely on free stuff. Most of their voters have scammed their way into free stuff. Most of their voters are used to being on the government dole. It's very hard for these people, almost like a drug addict, to go cold turkey and then tomorrow be self-sufficient. I heard a number yesterday that 40 million people get SNAP benefits of some level. 40 million. Now, if you think there's 320 million people in the entire country, 320 Americans in this country, that means nearly 15% of Americans in this country, plus the newcomers, are getting some form of SNAP benefits. We are paying for the entirety of the country. And some of these people have gamed the system where they know either they can sell stuff or they can, have more babies and increase the amount that you and me are going to have to pay. And they're completely okay with it. And the Democrats are completely okay with it. The only way that party exists is upon a grift. You go to work or you've worked and retired. Either way, you did it the right way. And they want to make it so that you have to pay for the people and reward non-success. Reward people who don't want to be productive members of society. And the only piece of value that they have to this country is to be able to vote Democrat. That's it. That's it. And I say that with full sincerity because I truly believe, again, not talking for good people who are in bad situations. Good people in bad situations will become good again given the opportunity. That's why Trump keeps talking about opportunity. Good people don't want to be low level without any aspiration. They want the aspiration. They want to be better. They want a better job. They want to do better for their family. But then you've got a whole subset of society that doesn't. And those are the ones that they count on. You ain't got to work for the man. You don't got to do nothing, girl. You can stay home. We'll take care of you. Never repeat that, what Kennedy said. Ask not what you can do, what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I ain't doing nothing for my country. My country needs to take care of me. That's what they feel. And it's been a long trip of indoctrination to get these people to feel that they're entitled to your money. You're already paying 30, 40, 50% in taxes, and they want more. Mandami just said it in the debate. I want 52%. That means you go to work starting on January 2nd, and you're going to work entirely until, I don't know, June 15th, just for free. If you're paying 50% of your money, well, 50% of your time would be mid-June. You only make enough money in half a year, which is why things are so expensive for you, because you're doing this. You don't realize it all the time, but you're doing this. And we feel trapped. And we feel trapped because of people like this.
Don't understand it. Don't understand it at all, but it's going to cause a lot of chaos.
People using SNAP benefits are bracing for cuts to the program. The U.S. Department of Agriculture notified states around the country that it will not be able to fully fund November SNAP benefits because of the federal shutdown.
I'd use it to get certain foods that I need and vegetables and stuff that I need. So without it, the little money I make when I do side work.
The little money I make side work. Oh, oh, sir, you went on camera and just said that, huh? Can we talk here? I feel like calling Chris Hansen. Take a seat right there. Can I talk to you? Tell me about this side work you got. Tell me how much money you make on this side gig that you don't want to have to do, give away your money on food, because that my side gig, that's my cash. Over here is where I get my paid stuff from the government. I heard this and I went, they don't have any problem saying it. And this isn't one of these rage baiters you see online. This is some guy who was just talking. It was just matter of fact. Here, you can hear him again. Let's hear Bro Man say this again, because I couldn't believe it. I almost fell out of my chair.
Foods that I need and vegetables and stuff that I need. So without it, the little money I make when I do side work is going to make me use that money to do. It's going to mess me up.
The little bit of money I get from my side work, now I'm going to have to pay for my own damn food. It's going to mess me up. Well, how about doing more side work? Maybe not make it side work, make it main work. But the bigger question is, how long you been getting food stamps? Snaps. How long you been doing that? How long you been doing that side work? By the way, have you paid taxes on that side work that you just told the world that you have? Oh, why are you bothering that man? Well, they're bothering us, aren't they? They want to know if you got a $600 Venmo payment. And you got people like this who are getting SNAP benefits and ain't doing his side work. See, some of you would see that and really not have a problem with, oh, Barry, why don't you leave that man alone? But that's just it. That is exactly it. They're used to saying, oh, he's just, that's Fred. You know, he does some handyman work here or there. And leave him alone. He gets his free food. So what's the difference between side work and you going to work every day? Because I'm pretty sure you would love it and say, you know what? I got this free food from the government so I don't have to use my paycheck. Well, what's the difference? Oh, no, it's not okay. You're not a little bit pregnant. You didn't just forge one document in your mortgage. You broke the law. You're getting paid. You're not paying taxes on it for however long. But, you won't even know, man.
Republicans and Democrats in Washington have been at odds, failing to pass a federal budget impacting many services, including the nation's food assistance program. In Pennsylvania, about 2 million people use SNAP benefits. New Jersey has more than 800,000 recipients, and Delaware has over 100,000.
2 million. 2 million people in Pennsylvania. 2 million people. Something's wrong. And what's interesting, not by accident, well, maybe, yeah, I think he was intentional, but he mentioned Pennsylvania, Jersey, and Delaware. All blue states. Hopefully Jersey flips. But that 3 million people right there are all in blue states. And we're not talking rural areas. We're talking big cities.
I don't know if you can see the warehouse behind me here, but in the last 3 or 4 years, I've never seen the warehouse as empty as it is today.
Officials with Share Food program are already struggling to feed families in need in the Delaware Valley. They say cuts to SNAP benefits will cause even more issues.
We're going to see here in Pennsylvania, about 2 million people rely on the SNAP program that aren't going to be able to get that as long as this government shutdown goes on. So it's going to mean even more people than ever coming to us at Share Food program.
My father raised me to be the man, not begging, but asking people for, unless you really, really need it. And this is coming to where I'm going to really, really need it.
And SNAP recipients should know that unspent funds can be rolled over into next month, but this whole issue can be resolved if Congress comes to a resolution. In Philadelphia, Johnny Archer, NBC 10 News.
So that's why I'm thinking President Trump's got an ace in the hole here. 3 million people, huh? 2 million in Pennsylvania. Was it 800,000 in Jersey and 120,000 in Delaware? How many of those people are seeing this go on right now and are freaking out? And what would happen if come, I don't know, next Thursday or so, when he gets back from Asia, he says, you know what? I raised the money for food stamps for this month. What are the Democrats going to do? And I don't know what that number could be. That could be a wildly insane amount of money. I mean, we could find out what's the dollar amount of SNAP benefits every single month. Maybe Grok can do that. But what happens if he raises that money? What happens if he's able to pay the military and the traffic controllers and keep SNAP going? Well, one of the things that's happening, he will be proving that the tariffs actually work. And the other thing he'll be proving is that we don't need your tax dollars, which is a death knell for the Democrats. If he can start showing we're raising so much money, we're so rich. We're so rich out here. What did he just say that? Didn't he just post something like that a second ago? Yeah, this morning. Yeah, if you are indeed so rich, the United States is wealthy, powerful, and nationally secure again, all because of the tariffs. Maybe what you're looking at is a calm. It's very interesting that he knows SNAP is ending in 7 days. He knows it. And you're telling the world we're wealthy. Why would you tell people who need money that you're wealthy? That we're wealthy? This country is wealthy. Why would you want to put that out there? Why would you? Hey man, I don't even know how I'm going to eat next week. I don't even know how I'm going to get my Wheaties, my Pop-Tarts. What are you talking about? We're wealthy. I'm broke as a joke. Got you. I got you, man. We're wealthy. We're wealthy because of tariffs. I think this has been a plan all along, and I think the Democrats played right into his hand. I could be wrong. Like next Friday, we'll see. Next Friday, we're like, Barry, you thought he was going to pay for the SNAP. Yeah, I thought so. because I think that this would be an amazing FU to the Democrats right in their faces. And at that point, every recipient would have to know Trump did it. You see, they're betting right now that people aren't going to get their stuff and they're going to blame it on Trump. Okay, well, if you're going to blame it on Trump, what happens if Trump fixes it and doesn't need you and doesn't need to sign anything? I just raise it with some tariffs. Like, SV's good at using grok. Maybe he's figured out how much food stamps go out each month. $8 billion a month. Okay, so somebody looked it up and said that each month right now there's $8 billion a month in food stamps. Well, I think he had a meeting the other day and said that they raised $20 trillion in tariffs. So if we're a powerful, wealthy country, $8 billion, that's like some chump change, isn't it? That's a lot of chump change. $1 trillion would mean he could basically do the entire SNAP thing for a year or more. 12 months would be 96 billion. That's not even a tenth of a trillion, isn't it? Yeah. You got to think about this at this point. Is that where he's going with this? I don't know, but I know I wouldn't post if people were starving and couldn't get food that, hey, we're wealthy. Who's wealthy? What do you mean we? Like, I got you, boo-boo. Watch what happens. Let's see what kind of magic Scott Bessent can do. Let's see what Russ Vought can do. How about this? How about when Russ Vought comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday and says, I found the $9 billion for the SNAP, and everybody goes, where? We're cutting this. And it's some other Democrat Green New Deal scam. Checkmate. You got a problem with that? But we wanted that money. I'm sorry, we moved that money into food stamps. Now what? Now what you got? See you next week. We're not going to talk. They haven't figured this stuff out yet. I haven't figured it out. I'm not an economist, but something doesn't smell right. There's no way President Trump is going to let these people go hungry. You guys let me know. No Twinkies on Snap. The 20 trillion is investment, not tariffs. Tariffs raised so far is close to 300 billion. That's still like, a lot of jack either way. And the tariffs is what he did use to move around and pay some of the military along with some donations thing. So it's not far-fetched that some of this stuff gets converted. Yep, somebody just said the 20 trillion is the amount of investment. So if it's 20 trillion of investment, who controls where that investment goes? I don't know. Let's see here. Love that idea, Barry. Yeah, I mean, we're playing way up here. We're playing high stakes right now. And that high stakes tells me something is going to happen. I don't know what. I think Russ Vought is going to be taking an eraser to some other numbers and then moving stuff around and then force the Democrats to complain and maybe go to a court and say, you can't feed... how do I say that? You can't reallocate that money to pay for people's... can you imagine? Whatever that money comes from, investment, tariffs, wherever. What do the Democrats do if next Thursday goes, I got it. I got the $9 billion for this month. We're going to do this. Can you imagine them trying to fight that? I believe you're right, Barry. The Dems are going to lose all of them because it will show how much he loves all. Let's see. That's why we're 37 trillion in debt. The world has been ripping us off, and President Trump is fixing it. Walmart is already pulling junk food out the carts of these people using EBT cards. Good. Scott says chess, not checkers. I just want you to know, I don't have the answer, but The one thing answer I do have is this man knows what's going to happen. He knows the deadline's coming up. He knows that a gazillion people are going to lose food stamps. Yet you don't post that we're so wealthy if you can't find some way to take care of people. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Once you feed them, you got them. Exactly. Absolutely. Midterms are not far. Well, talk about changing some votes. You already just saw the polls I showed you, that people aren't worried about the economy. What'll happen if he finds a way to give them their food? I ain't worried about nothing. Daddy Trump got it. He got me. You'll see that right away. If he comes out and goes, don't worry, I will make sure you people have food. They're done. I mean, they're done now. They are on life support now. He's about to unplug the life support as far as I can tell. All right, so I got one more segment for you, even though I've got 2 in the can, 3 in the can. You know what? It's a Friday night once you guys get to dinner. Let me talk about this one real quick, because this one is a little comedic relief. Let's roll.
And we have this now that is breaking. New York Attorney General Letitia James just pleaded not guilty in federal court in Norfolk, Virginia. It is her first court appearance on a 2-count bank fraud indictment tied to a 2020 home purchase. Prosecutors say Letitia James signed a second home rider agreeing the property would be for her personal use, which got her a better loan term. They say she then rented that house out to a family member instead of actually living in it.
And by the way, that family member is a fugitive. Oh, God. You can't write this script. This is just some crazy stuff.
Expected to file now, she and her attorneys, a motion to dismiss the case, which she has called vindictive and selective prosecution. She's expected to speak at any moment outside court. We will take you there live. Remember, she ran on taking down Trump.
Like I've said many times, but you guys actually know it at this point, you cannot be a Democrat if you have any sort of memory. She's saying that President Trump is being vindictive. So those of us with brains are like, what you talking about, Willis? We remember what you did. Democrats, nope, they must not remember.
That was her policy change that she was pitching. She is in the law, not necessarily a politician, but that's how she thought she'd get the job. We'll cover it as it happens.
I want to thank all of you. I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank you for your prayers. I want to thank you for your emails.
So let me ask you a question. When's the last time you left work, left the kids at home, drove to a courthouse where somebody was getting arrested, and stand out with a sign, "Love you, man. We love you." And remembering that she's a New York Attorney General, she's not even in Virginia, but she's got fans. How many attorneys have fans? How many people would go out and stand in the sun, or rather, I guess what the temperature is in Norfolk, Virginia, and stand and go, "We love you. We love." Maybe the same people go to the No Kings rally. I guess what I'm saying is, this is some AstroTurf stuff if I ever seen it. I've had friends go to court, and I'd even go out there and go, "Love you, man. Hope everything's okay." Oh, gosh. No, I'll pick you up. We'll go get lunch, okay? And we're supposed to believe that these people are standing outside organically. Sure.
Thank you for your support. It has strengthened my spirit and it has anchored my soul. And so I want to thank you. But this is not about me. This is about all of us.
I was just checking my notes to see if I committed mortgage fraud. So it's not about us. It is most assuredly about you. I don't think the people in the crowd are getting arrested for mortgage fraud. I'm pretty sure the people in the chat aren't getting arrested for mortgage fraud. So yeah, I don't think it's about us. It's you for sure.
And about a justice system which has been weaponized. A justice system which has been used as a tool of revenge. This justice system which has been used as a tool of revenge. And a weapon against those individuals who simply did their job and who stood up for the rule of law.
So, I don't know if any of you have ever been arrested. Well, one thing is your attorney would tell you, keep your mouth shut. Number two, I think the first thing I would say is, I didn't do it. I don't even know what the rest of this is. No, hey, listen, I've been falsely accused. I didn't do this. And I'm here today to answer to the charges, but I will show you in trial, I didn't do it. This is a very short time, so you guys don't have to worry about spending a lot of time listening to Big Letty. But listen if you hear her say anything to the sort of, I didn't do it.
And a justice system which unfortunately is nothing being used as a vehicle of retribution.
Yes. What you talking about, Willis? You were saying you arrested Trump and tried to take his property, you moron.
But my faith is strong. And my faith is, I have this belief in the justice system, in the rule of law, and I have a belief in America and all of its individuals who have stood with me, not only in New York, but all across this nation. I've heard from just about every jurisdiction in this nation who have said, stand up and be tall. And never ever cow down or back down or break or bend. So there's no fear today.
I don't really care about your fear. How about a little bit of allocution? Well, no, allocution would say you did it. How about just a little, I don't know, I'm innocent? You know, well, like most criminals or people who are charged would say, you know, I didn't do these things. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Maybe it's coming up.
No fear. No fear. No fear. No fear. Because I believe that justice will rain down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream.
Preach. These people going to church. Preach, girl. Preach, girl. Preach.
And I'm here to say that my work and my job and all that I do, all throughout my public career, I've stood up for the rights of New Yorkers and Americans, and I will not be deterred. That's a lie.
What'd she say? Deterred? Okay.
I will not be deterred. I will not be distracted. I will do my job each and every day, and that's why I'm headed back to New York, because there's work to be done standing up for the rule of law. God bless you and thank you all, and I appreciate you.
Yep, so she spoke for about 2.5 minutes, and not once did she say, I didn't do it. I found that very interesting. I found that extremely interesting because the first thing I'd want everybody watching, I'm on a microphone, somehow it's set up here. There's people there, there's people watching it from the various networks. How about telling everybody who's watching, I'm innocent. I did not do these things. Nope, she never said it. That would be the first thing out of my mouth. Thank you for coming, and I didn't do it. She never said that. She had every opportunity, and she kept repeating herself, I will not be deterred. I will survive. As long as I live, I'm sorry. But she never said, I didn't do it. Wouldn't you want everybody to know right off the bat? Wouldn't you just say to everybody, you know what? I'm sorry. These are not things I have done. These are lies they've been telling you down at the lounge, as Jay Giles said. Some of you guys know that reference. But I would very quickly tell the world I'm innocent. You don't have to presume. I'm telling you, I'm innocent. But unfortunately, she can't, because there's two, as I've told you, the only way she avoids being in an orange jumpsuit is by some sort of judge or jury nullification where they just completely suck, because you can't, the paperwork will give you away. Listen to what this guy has to say, and he was the one who started it.
Up on Letitia James. He's the source of all this information. Sam, thank you so much for joining us here on the set.
Thank you for having me on, sir.
You're a New Yorker. You live right down the street, and this is some fantastic work here. I want to start and get into just the specifics first. Starting with this Virginia property that she claimed as her primary residence while she was, I mean, this is Norfolk, Virginia. This is probably a 5-6 hour drive, claiming it's her primary residence while she's the AG of New York.
Okay, so what he's showing is the exact power of attorney that she signed as a part of this mortgage. She signed this declaration, specific power of attorney. I hereby declare that I intend to occupy this property as my principal residence. See, you, your friends, your family, some people could say, I didn't understand what that meant. There were so many papers to sign. I didn't realize what I was signing. And I might look at you and go, okay, yeah, he didn't. I've closed down a house. I understand that can be a pain in the butt because there's 100 pages and you might have just been signing it. That might work for you. That if I was on a jury and Fred said, yeah, I didn't see it. They're like, okay, yeah, he didn't mean it. He made a mistake. She's the Attorney General of New York. There is no predisposition of her not knowing the law. That's what you put Trump in, tried to put him in prison for. You signed that declaration. There's no way out of it. How do you say I didn't do it? You can't say I didn't do it. Is that your signature? Yeah, it's all right. What's your other excuse? I didn't know? That's not what I meant? When everybody goes on television and they're talking about this case and they're like, oh, it's very flimsy. And I'm like, she wrote the flipping document. She signed it. You may think it's a low-level case. You may think that everybody does it, but it doesn't mean she's innocent from doing it. I'm going to go back to Capone. Hey, I couldn't get you on X, Y, and Z, but I got you here. That document is going to put her in jail if it's a real trial.
Your report, you say James signed a specific power of attorney declaring her intent to make 604 Sterling Street in Norfolk, Virginia, her principal residence, a legally binding statement that may have automatically vacated her position as New York Attorney General under Public Officers Law 30. A declaration that came just 45 days before she launched her case, her civil fraud case against Donald Trump. Tell us more about what happened in Virginia here.
She purchased a property with a relative. This is in 2023, a few weeks. She closed
2 years ago. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She closed on it right before the Trump trial. And in the filed documents with the county clerk's office, there was a power of attorney that she gave her cousin or niece to close the mortgage. Yep. And on the power of attorney, she represented that I intend to use this property as my primary residence. Now, there's two problems with that. The first problem is she lied on a power of attorney. Would anybody really believe that she was going to move to Virginia in the middle of the Trump trial? Second,
Not only that, would anybody believe that she would move to Virginia in the middle of a Trump trial, as she's worth, as people say, maybe $8, $9, $10 million, and move into this shanty, this $120,000 property in Virginia? Big lady has a nice big, brownstone in New York, and she's going to go make her primary residence this hovel in Norfolk, Virginia. How are you going to get that past the jury?
Part is there's section 6 of the mortgage that states that the borrower, meaning her and her niece, have to occupy the property as their primary residence within 60 days. Not one or the other, both. Wow. She at least never occupied it. Right. That's
and what was the motivation to do this? Why lie?
Lower interest rates.
Lower interest rates.
I'd call her a petty thief.
A petty thief. This is, this is, when you look at the allegations she made against Trump, is this act worse, better, same?
Well, no. Listen, Trump is not a real felon. I'm a real felon. Okay, so so Trump didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. You don't see anything wrong in the case you made against Trump? You think, obviously, the jury here thought that he did something wrong.
Well, listen.
It seems like what every developer has ever done.
You should have listened to the appellate arguments, because the appellate judges seem to be. It seems like they're going to write an opinion that's going to vacate the entire case.
Yeah. Boom. Okay. Yeah. It's because it obviously was. We were all astounded by what they charged.
He's absolutely right. Now that it's in the appellate court, the courts are striking down all this stuff against Trump because, again, there's a vaguity to it. It's not. She was trying to say that it was mortgage fraud because he said the property was worth $400 gazillion, and she said it was only worth $18 million. She arbitrarily picked a number on Mar-a-Lago and said he ripped off, even though the lenders came in and said, nope, I wasn't ripped off. That's what we valued it at. And I've shown you many times on Zillow and other things, you can't buy dirt near Mar-a-Lago for $18 million. Can't even come close. And I think what we're seeing in the court system right now is underscoring all of that. Let me show you something.
Breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
All right, so SB sent me this, and I'll show it to you. Boom. Breaking. In a massive victory, a federal judge has struck down a Biden-era policy that requires hospitals to perform transformer surgeries and changes. Done. Over. Gone. One by one, all of these things are falling. Again, for the Pam Bondi haters out there, save it. Save it. If you haven't been following along, she's getting these things done. And so I've got more than enough confidence in what she's doing. Let's continue.
For that penalty was ridiculous. I want to move on here. Let's talk about Brooklyn, New York. This is her actual main residence. She walked out of this house this morning, a townhouse she owns. It's a multifamily home. You discovered James has been claiming that her townhouse is a 4-unit dwelling when it actually has 5 units. Why would she do this?
To obtain lower mortgage rates. Again,
same motivation.
If 1 to 4 units has different underwriting guidelines, and also insurance too, by the way, insurance for it. Whereas if it's 5 or more units, it's considered a commercial property and also subject to different insurance guidelines.
Right.
She repeatedly lied because there's a certificate of occupancy that states that it's 5 units. And in New York, that rules. And it's unbelievable that that complaints were filed with the Department of Buildings, and they wrote it off as a minor problem, minor error. Where every other landlord in New York, if you pull that stunt, illegal conversion, having a building that's different from the certificate of occupancy, they will fine you. They will make you alter the building.
She's flat out lying on these documents. She didn't deny anything about it. 1983, she takes out a $30,000 loan with her dad. She files it as a husband and wife. She's married to
open and shut cases I've ever seen, and I'm not an attorney. She took these documents, she took these mortgages, and over and over and over, at least 3 or 4 times, she lied on the applications. She actually put that this dude was was her husband. It was her father. All right, you're sitting in a jury. You're like, well, she lied here, and is Robert your husband? No. Okay. Who's Robert? Oh, he's my father. Then why did you sign this document saying that Robert It's your husband. Oh, I made a mistake. That's all I'm telling you right now, that's her defense. Her defense is going to be, I made mistakes. I was a mistake. Oh, I didn't see that. That was a mistake. There's no other defense. She's going to count on the jury or judge saying she made a mistake and another mistake and another mistake. Because otherwise, there is no defense. If I can show you a piece of paper with somebody's signature on it, all I got to do is, one, is this your signature? Yes. Okay, so if this is your signature, is he your husband? No. Your Honor, I'm done here. This is pretty simple. I got document after document. Was Norfolk, Virginia your primary residence? No. The only other thing she can do is perjure the hell out of herself.
Father, why?
First of all, that was discovered by Joel Gilbert, not me. I don't want to take credit for anybody's work.
Okay.
All right, that was 1983. What he found was that she bought the house as daughter and mother, father and daughter, and then she, when they did the mortgage, it was husband and wife.
As husband and wife.
Also, you get different underwriting as husband and wife than as you buy it as partners or different two family members.
We have,
and now this is different from the Brooklyn home. This is a different property. I think it was in Queens.
In Queens, yeah. It was a long time ago. This is 41 years ago, 42 years ago. We have allegations of flying private on taxpayer money, almost $42,000 to places like Martha's Vineyard, Puerto Rico. We have luxury hotels with mischaracterized on official filings. What can you tell us here?
Let's break it down. Between 2021 and 2022, she used private jets to get around, spent $42,000 of taxpayer money. The vendor she spent the money on was called Venture Jets. No other government agency, because the information is out there, back to 2014 ever used Venture Jets or for private jet travel, period.
Yeah.
Then in 2022, when the government stops paying for it, her campaign starts paying for it. Now, let's go back to this stuff that the taxpayers paid for. If you align the payments for the for Venture Jets and those trips, because you don't pay jet travel net 30 days, you pay it COD, cash on delivery.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of those trips align with major campaign events that she was attending. That's a problem.
That's a big. She has a lot of problems here.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
She's got a lot of problems. She can make all the preachy speeches she wants, but she's not going to be able to explain all this stuff away. And so, don't know if you know this, but today she filed a motion to have the charges thrown out because they're trying to say Lindsay Halligan wasn't properly appointed to even bring the charges. Same thing Comey did. Oh, she's not a legal state attorney or U.S. attorney. They're doing everything to try and stop it. They're doing nothing to prove her innocence.
Reporting. We've dug through, I think, the bulk of the of what you have found, I believe. Real quick before I let you go, you have a past.
Yes.
And tell us how you got so good at what you just did with what you worked on this for 7 months. How'd you get so good at this?
Because I was a criminal for 20 years, and I was very good at doing what I did as a criminal. Morality aside.
Yeah.
The FBI saw a talent in me, and they helped me out going forward after the Crazy Eddie case.
Crazy Eddie. And I believe this is Sam as his cousin or something, but Crazy Eddie was a huge electronics distributor, almost like a BrandSmart. He was Crazy Eddie. Our prices are insane, and it was amazing. His television commercials were on like all day, all night long, and he got into a lot of trouble, and he took a lot of people down with him, including Sam. They were doing all kinds of funny business, financial funny business. You can look it up. Look up Crazy Eddie. You'll see Sam associated with it. You'll see the story in Wikipedia. And that's why Rob was smart. Make him come up. You've done bad, right? Yes, I went to jail. I did this. That's why I know. I know what to look for. I mean, that's specifically, I told you, like one of our sponsors is Home Title Lock. That's specifically bringing people out like that who know what to look for. And he dug it all up.
FBI taught me things when I was being investigated. The FBI taught me how investigations are done. All of the beatings that the FBI gave me when I was doing crime made me into a better human being.
How about the people who don't get the same benefits based on it?
Now, this is pretty interesting. This is CNN. Lauren Coates. Lauren Coates, when President Trump got arrested and indicted for basically the same thing, she had a much, much, much more indignant reaction. So I'm going to show you her reaction to President Trump, and then immediately following, you'll see her reaction to Letitia James. Interesting.
Inflated assets, but people who have tax that is owed, people who have to actually give the accurate assessment of the value of their property if they're lucky enough to own it, according to the so-called American dream.
What the hell does that mean? The so-called American dream. Every chance they get, they try to tear down America. The so-called American dream. Lady, you're living the American dream. You're a black woman who's an anchor on CNN, probably getting paid a whole crap load of money. You're living that dream that you have that believe it's so-called.
You're able to secure a loan in an industry which oftentimes lays bare bias, whether it's implicit or otherwise, or, algorithm-based or otherwise. What about?
Now you know she's talking out of her butt. She didn't even know what she's talking about. It's bias, it's algorithm based. No, how's your credit and how much money do you got to put down and what's the property worth? There ain't no algorithm in that.
Those people who say, well, you know what, all's well did not end well for me because I didn't have the benefit that perhaps Trump did. I suspect on a jury of people who have either tried to get a loan, who have had to pay their taxes, who have had to do that which is required, will look at it very differently. But again, now it's just a judge doing that, who I'm sure has to pay his taxes as well.
All right, so the judge and jury in the Trump case, they understand when they see someone who's a fraud. Okay, so now Letitia James is, her turn in the barrel.
To break down this indictment against James in plain English, I want you to forget the legal codes. Here it is.
All right, you lost me right. Forget the legal stuff. That's where you start. And so the first part of her soliloquy here is forget the legal stuff. Oh, okay. Now I'll listen to your story. That's what you're going to tell me? Forget that. That tricky legal stuff. We don't need to even talk about that. Woo.
They say that she bought a property. She claimed it would be used for personal use only as a second home. Instead, she rented it out to a family of 3. Now, here is why the prosecutors want you to care. Prosecutors say that the banks suffered because when she claimed...
Okay, so she gets a 3% loan. Good luck getting one of those. Comparable investment property get 3.8, 17,000. Ill-gotten gains of approximately 18,000 over the life of the loan. Okay, she got her misrepresentation. Profit her $18,000. Got it.
It was for her. She got a note rate of 3% rather than 3.815%. And between that and a seller credit, she probably saved $19,000 over the life of the loan. The prosecutors say that her misrepresentation, so they're saying it is, that it harmed the bank. They don't allege how in this indictment. They don't allege when they were harmed.
Are you reading the same thing I'm reading based on what she said? They don't allege how and they don't allege when. Well... March 2021 is the when, and you're putting it on your screen, and you're saying the bank doesn't allege the when. When every person watching this video right now says the when was March 2021, and the what and how they were damaged, it exposed them to risk associated with the misrepresented loan. You just put on the screen a document that completely eviscerates what you said.
They don't allege why they were harmed. Bank fraud starts with, quote, whoever knowingly executes or attempts to execute a scheme.
Oh, Oh, we need to make sure it only goes towards intent. Only those people who knowingly do a scheme. So are you saying that Letitia James didn't know she didn't live in Norfolk, Virginia? That it was a surprise to her? It kind of just snuck up on her? Is that what you're telling your audience? Because she wasn't... Oh, you can't be saying that. Are you serious?
I'm sure you can guess what the key word there is. By the way, I said knowingly, right? And for false statements to a financial institution, quote, whoever knowingly makes a false statement or report.
Tell me you're not going there. Tell me you're not going to go where I think you're going to go.
There it is again, knowingly. What does this mean? That the prosecutors, Lindsay Halligan in her office, whoever ends up prosecuting this case, they got to prove that James had the intent to defraud. And
so shut up, bitch! Oh my God!
Deliberately lied to the loan provider. Not that it was a mistake or a typo.
Oh God, our news people are morons. Knowingly, that's the word, knowingly. She didn't know she didn't live in Norfolk, Virginia. She didn't know she was the Attorney General of New York. She didn't knowingly do all these things. Letitia should have called her up and said, girlfriend, stop defending me. Stop defending me. Don't talk anymore. You're making me look like a freaking moron. Oh my God. I looked at that and like, don't say it. Don't say it. You know, it might have just been a mistake. She just showed up in Norfolk, Virginia one day and bought this house that she knew she didn't live in and told the bank that I don't live there. But it was just a little bitty mistake.
I agree with Letitia James whenever she stated that no one is above the law. And what happened here is a grand jury determined that there is sufficient evidence to bring to indictment allegations of mortgage fraud against her. She's going to have her day in court. It's going to be about 2 weeks from today, and we'll see what the court decides. But it looks like there is sufficient evidence here to reasonably say that she did indeed commit mortgage fraud. And if she did, she needs to be held to the same standards as anybody else would. I mean, this is somebody who tweeted whenever she was going after President Trump, weaponizing the New York Justice Department against the president, that when powerful people cheat to get better loans, it comes at the expense of hardworking people. She needs to be held to that standard as well.
We live in a post-truth society where truth no longer matters depending on if you have an R or a D after your name. And even then, sometimes it doesn't matter. People will do all kinds of contortions to make it seem as though you didn't do what they see you doing. It's not your fault. It was a mistake. Again, that might work for you. It wouldn't work for me because I've bought too many properties. So they're like, Barry, you should know this, right? You've done all these deals. Yeah, you would know. Yeah, your only purchase may have been the one you're living in. And so, yeah, hey, I didn't read all the documents I was signing, and I don't know, the mortgage broker just filled it out. Okay. But she's the Attorney General. She can knowingly do crap. Her job, her one job, is to follow the law. No one is above it. No one's above the law. She says it. How are you going to show people? She didn't knowingly do it. She got a whole lot of problems. A whole lot of problems. Flipping the gaslighting is... Where's that one? It says the gaslighting is off the charts. Yeah, Fanny is stuck with Nathan Wade. Already despises him. Perfect prison time. Yep, her too. I just remembered the only reason I owed last year is because of Obamacare. Oh my God, my husband reads everything. And so here's the other part. She's going to have to go into court. Shut up, Midas. She's going to have to go into court put her hand on a Bible, which may or may not, well, if she talks like she's a preacher, may or may not mean anything. Sorry about that. But while she says that, she could probably be committing perjury. I swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but truth, so help me God. And then you're going to say, I didn't knowingly do this, and you're an attorney general? Yeah, good luck with that. Might have stopped it. Her job is to know. I didn't read all the documents when I bought my house. I should have learned a lot from watching this. You know, Linda, you're absolutely right. And like I said, you could use that kind of a defense. You could say, I think someone's at the door. You could say, I didn't know. I didn't knowingly check that box. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. You could probably get away with that, as I'm going to kill my dog. But people who are trained in it know what to look at. I've told you, Robin and I bought an investment property a couple of weeks ago, and we're looking to resell it. And when I got our mortgage, and the guy gave it to us, most of the stuff I flipped through, but boom. And I flip through, and I know what I'm looking at, and I know what that paragraph should say. Yeah, and even if it's not from a conventional lender like a bank, it still has the certain terms that I want to make sure are in it. Oftentimes, I will get a mortgage document or a promissory note in advance, so I have a couple days to go over it. And then I go over it before I send it to the attorney and say, hey, check out paragraph 35, make sure that's okay. And even when we're doing stuff with contractors, if we're doing something outside, or Robin wants to put a new thing out there or whatever, send me your contract, and you go through it. And I'm not the attorney general, but Linda, as a homeowner, it's a little bit different. We'd have to give you some benefit of doubt. And dogs bark when there's a threat too. Don't get used to his bark. I'd always check. No, Robin's out there. She's running him down. Midas will always bark if he hears something. He's probably one of the best. Even though he's only 12 or 14 pounds, one of the best guard dogs we've ever had. He'll let you know if somebody's out there. Lily, on the other hand, she just kind of looks like, hey, what's going on? Is there something I should worry about? Is there food out there? She don't even care. I am not a lawyer or nothing in law, and I bought or built 7 houses in a 15-year period. And I know Tish did wrong if she did what they say. Again, you can actually see the documents. Everybody can see the documents that she signed. So the only question is, did you sign this? Yeah. Did you knowingly sign it? I like your shirt today. Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Come in here. Come in here, buddy. He won't come in. Oh, he did come in. People lost their homes in 2023, didn't know better, but yet still lost their homes. Yes, they did. Let's see. She's the top of the food chain in her district of law. She is the law. Very well said. Very well said. Any idea how many real estate transactions Tish may have had prior to this one? That's a good question. I'm sure they've looked into it. I'm sure they've looked into it for sure. Right after James said, I stood up for the rights of New Yorkers and I will not be deterred, someone in a crowd yelled. All right, so that's my Friday night show for you guys. Let me look and see if there's any super chats I need to acknowledge. Those of you guys know, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I do one show. So tomorrow it'll probably be about 5 o'clock or so that we'll look to go on. I'm going to spend some time in the pool with Robin. And oh, by the way, I don't mean to say that facetiously. I know some of you guys are freezing. My sister called me, and she's like, it's 38 degrees up here in Connecticut. I'm like, sorry about your luck. I know what the next thing she was going to say, though, too. I'm about to get on a plane, all right? Yeah, okay, you do that. We're here. I know that's coming. This is, if you live in Florida, this is the time of year when you start getting those phone calls. When people start saying, yeah, it's cold up here. Can we come on down? And of course, they're welcome to come down. Okay, let me get ready here for this. And the first one, I gotta move it out. Okay, let's do this. Insurance companies, dark money, they're getting paid during shutdown. Democrats are getting paid for shutting down the government. Yep, I heard that. I heard that they're still getting all their payments. Bernie Sanders said Congress has to be paid because they are so important. He also said that somebody, they can't afford not to get paid. And people are like, well, what about all the people who aren't getting paid? It was on The View. He said that on The View. Chris, can you tell me anything about political asylum from the UK to US? I don't think that's going to work, but yeah, we are sinking fast. I feel bad for those people. It was funny. Robin was talking about going on vacation. And, she loves Europe and everything. And she's like, where can we go? And I'm like, don't want to go there. Definitely don't want to go there. There, maybe. So we're looking at like Netherlands or the Bruges. I love the Bruges ever since I saw the movie. Nathan Hardcastle, do you remember when Trump said he wanted to create 10 new cities on his campaign trail? Do you think he meant brand new cities, or we make Dem-controlled cities if they were new? Good point. Good point. You picked up on that. Exactly. Yeah, he did say that. I want to commit 10 more new cities. Good point. Nathan, I hope one of those new cities will be on the moon. Metalhead, Dems extended COVID money for 3 years that expire. Dan Tana, he got 2 nice gold chains on too. Yeah, the guy, he's talking about the guy who's like, man, my food stamp's running out and my side hustle, I'm going to have to put some of that money towards food. Metalhead, 65 hours per week plus side work, 35 years pension. I'm fine. Good for you. Oakview, these kids aren't old enough to remember Hurricane Katrina and what it feels like to have an empty coffer and no tariffs after a hurricane. Yeah, people just hoping for food and stuff like that. Absolutely. Metalhead again, Barry's plan works, so I'm all in. Retire. Absolutely. Nathan, I worked 2 full-time jobs and 1 part-time job for a year at one point. It was not hard, but I am single and had no dependents. Idle hands is a devil playground. At one point after Robin and I got married, I worked 3 jobs. 2 of them were full-time. One of them was full-time in the day, one of them was full-time at night, and then I did my security stuff in clubs as well. Because if you want to make the money, you got to go to work. Chapo, Democrats have been using benefits to keep people enslaved for years. Trump is going to use it against them to turn the people to his side. I believe that. I absolutely believe. I believe it's coming. I don't think they're even counting on it, but it could be coming. Metalhead, for all the mods, thank you. VJ C-Class. Why do I get the feeling Chuck and Jeffrey have a secret agreement with Trump to help wipe out their deep state puppet masters to regain control of their party? Wow, I never thought of that. Get rid of the AOCs and Presley and all these nuts so that they can stay as wow. I know that they've been giving Hakeem Jeffries a hard time because he hasn't, as of yet, endorsed Mamdani, and he's from New York. So is Schumer. Interesting. Have you thought about having a Joe Rogan-like podcast? What is a Joe Rogan-like podcast? You mean like have people here in the studio? Nah, there ain't nobody coming here. I do our interviews remotely, but not having people come down here. Not into that. I mean, Patrick Bet David, he's not too far from me. He does it sometimes. But no, I haven't really thought about flying people in. Actually, Ashley and I did have a conversation about that, but not something I'm looking at to do. Metalhead, free silver fund, Barry, second draw. All right, guys, don't forget. Oh, I don't have the graphic, but I got to get the graphic from the other computer. All right. Chapo, Letitia feels that the deep state and court system will back her, and she can go around telling everybody she beat Trump. I bet we're going to see some of this deep state stuff have an issue real soon. Check out what Dan Scavino has been posting. Tania, Letitia should have said, I will not be cockeyed. See, I wasn't going to go there. I wasn't going to say nothing about that. Metalhead, Big Tish was going to be AG if Kamala won in 2024. Could you even imagine? Nathan Hardcastle, the Democrat MSM, one egg short of a baker's dozen. Yeah, for sure. FL, you weren't kidding. I watched your last video and did not recognize Raggedy Andy with the new hair wig. Thanks, Darlene. Oh yeah, she's trying to sell a book, and so she's out there trying to look a little bit different than she did when she was Raggedy Andy. All right, everybody, 7:30. Get you guys out here early. Go have a great evening with your family. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And if you notice, Ashley and I are posting. We're upping the cadence on our clipped videos, so that people, if they miss a show, they can come back and watch a part of it. So we're going to be doing more of that as well. All right, thanks everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Oops. I got something I need to show you. I downloaded this video. And remember I said earlier, I was talking about it's possible that President Trump may try and pay the people on Snap. Listen to this. I got to play this for you. Check this out.
Let's do a... Just go this way and that way, and that way everybody doesn't have to yell.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Hatchett.
I don't want to do a follow-up just to so many people.
Yeah, so on SNAP contingency funding, have there been discussions within the White House to use the contingency funds with SNAP should the shutdown go beyond November?
Look, nobody wants people not to have the food that they need, and we urge the Democrats to get the government open. And Russ Vought is doing everything he can to make sure that the most essential policies are still able to be funded with the money that we have.
Including the contingency fund?
What are you expecting from...
In case you couldn't hear him because he's out in his sticks, reporter says, what are you going to do about the SNAP benefits that are due to run out? Are you going to get the money from a contingency fund or something? And Kevin Hassett, who is the National Economic Council Director, said Russ Vought is working on something about moving some money around. It's happening. You can tell people you heard it here first, but it's happening. These people are going to get their SNAP benefits. I don't know what he's going to do, but Russ Vought is on the case. Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.